Hey guys, welcome back to the layout once again. This will be our mid-year 2020 layout update, and also a very special look back at the first 10 years of Christmas Tree Lane Model Railroad Society. And welcome to Model Railroading Made Simple. This July, we celebrate 10 years since a couple of guys and I started getting together in Altadena to run trains and put on a public show each December for the people that converge on the longest running lighting display in America. We get thousands of visitors on the lane each December, and every year since 2010, we've been open to the public. Prior to 2010, I had a mid-sized layout in my garage and had several friends over to run a few times. In June of that year, I tore down the old layout to make room for what would become the Eastern California Model Railroad version 1.0, or EC1. By the fall of 2010, several key scenes were already in place, including a version of Los Angeles Union Station, San Diego, and San Clemente Pier that have all been replicated on the current layout, EC2. The entire layout fit in a space approximately 20 feet by 20, spread over 4 levels. The layout was just large enough to develop a following with some local model railroaders. With the help of each open house, the group began to grow. And here's one of our junior members, first time visiting the layout. EC1 was unique in several ways. Its 4 decks were stacked, but on a constant grade in most places, allowing trains to climb gradually, avoiding using precious space for a helix. This no-licks approach was a good option to save space and maximize scenic parts of the layout. A swing gate was also employed, perhaps the first of its kind to hold 4 decks on the same swing door. The swing door, while an engineering challenge, would later prove to be the layout's own worst enemy, preventing people from entering and exiting without stopping all train traffic. An early highlight of EC1 was participating in the 2013 National Narrow Gauge Convention layout tours. With the convention in Pasadena right down the street, we were overwhelmed with guests on the first day, and quite honored to have Model Railroad hobbyist editor Joe Fugate pay us a visit as well. We've also been on several Model Railroads of Southern California tours hosted by Bob Chaparro. Perhaps in part due to the Narrow Gauge Convention, or the increased availability of Blackstone narrow gauge models, or maybe it was just that visit to Law's Railroad Museum. The narrow gauge bug bit, and in 2015 we began constructing our second layout, the narrow gauge Horseshoe and Cottonwood. The layout models the Southern Pacific narrow gauge from Laws to Oweno, and then a fictional run into the High Sierra Mountains from Lone Pine up to the 11,000-foot Pacific Crest. The layout was completed in 3 years and is a popular addition to the open house. Each April, we host our annual Great Narrow Gauge Switching Op session, where participants use switch lists to keep industries served around the layout's 4 decks. The layout features switchbacks, reverse loops on each end, and modern touch panels for switching. All controllers are wireless, and a run across the layout takes about 45 minutes. There is even some dual gauge in Oweno, so the guys with standard gauge trains can also participate. After 7 years of fun times with EC1, the bottlenecks created by the only entrance had put a limit on how many people could visit the layout at open house. And always longing for a larger layout that more accurately reflected the huge distances between San Diego, Los Angeles, and the Pacific Northwest, the decision was made to tear down EC1 and begin EC2 in its place. The plan was ambitious. The garage would be completely refinished, bringing air conditioning, carpet, and a finished interior to the main section of the layout to be housed there. But the layout could not be contained by 20 by 20 feet of space. Instead, the layout would be allowed to sprawl into the surrounding yard as sections were completed in a modularized fashion. The one-module approach, known as TOMA by its creator Joe Fugate of Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine, would be employed to house up to 5 decks on one section. This approach greatly enhances the speed of getting trains running and also forces you to finish a section before moving on to the next, so you always have some completed scenery to enjoy or photograph your models. In January 2017, EC2 was started after garage renovations were completed. Los Angeles Union Station was one of the first areas to go in after some minor rehabilitation of the depot. The first outdoor sections were built later that year, and the layout was inaugurated in June of 2017, with local model railroading legend Michael Gross doing the honors.
2, 1.
Phase 1, linking Fullerton with Los Angeles and Burbank, was completed in November 2017, just in time for open house. In 2018, the layout began Phase 2, which saw construction of a completely separate section above Phase 1 known as the Inside Gateway. This is the middle of the Eastern California's run from Southern California to Seattle, set in Northern California and Oregon, primarily on BNSF's Inside Gateway line. This portion of the layout was completed from Portola, California in the south to Schemmelt, Oregon in the north. In 2019, Phase 3 saw a fifth deck added to the layout, the self-contained Seattle and Stampede Pass section, which models Seattle south over Stampede Pass. The global pandemic has slowed construction somewhat in 2020, but we've still managed to fill out some additional sections of the layout, including the large yard at Sparks, Nevada, Solana Beach to San Diego and its yard, and Mojave and nearby desert scenery. We are on track to finish the Redmond area of Oregon and the Crooked River Gorge by year's end. Additional outdoor sections should be possible once the pandemic is over. We anticipate several more years of construction phases before the layout will be runnable all the way from San Diego to Seattle. The next phase will connect San Diego with Los Angeles and Los Angeles with Mojave, probably in about a year. We've been lucky to have so much of the layout outdoors so that members have been able to get together, practicing social distancing, to safely come back to the layout in small numbers. I often think of the Model Railroad Society as an unclubbed club. That's because it's very different from most train clubs I've been a member of. There are no dues. All proceeds come from donations at the December open houses. All we ask of members is that they do their best to help out at one of the open houses, since that's what pays our expenses for the year. We have approximately 50 members, and op sessions usually have 20 to 30 members in attendance, though it's been about 10 or less during the pandemic. We try to cap membership at 50 because that's about all the layout can support at the moment, and groups with more than 50 members just tend to have more drama and politics. Members are voted in after at least 2 guest visits and passing a safety run on the layout. Members are required to bring their own NCE wireless throttles or use their phone or other Wi-Fi device as a controller. Our members are mostly younger, with median age of about 30. It's been fun to see them get into the hobby and help them avoid the mistakes the rest of us already made. We also have 3 junior members, ages 8 and up, and being able to see them grow up with the hobby is also very rewarding. To foster youth in the hobby, we put on a model train camp every May, where kids can come run one of the layouts with the help of a member. While this year was very abbreviated, it's been very popular in past years and contributes to bringing new blood into the hobby. When we're not running trains, we do tree making clinics, car tuning clinics, work days, and visit other clubs and conventions to enjoy all aspects of the hobby as a group. Good friendships have been made, and op sessions are more than just run time. They're social time too. If you're ever in the LA area, come check us out, especially if it's December. 2020 marks the 10th anniversary for our group and the layouts here at Christmas Tree Lane, and the 100th anniversary of the lane being decorated for the holidays. While it may not be the big celebration we are hoping for this December, we will celebrate when it is safe to do so for all the hard work and magic that happens when people come together to enjoy model trains. Happy birthday, Christmas Tree Lane and Christmas Tree Lane Model Railroad Society.
Billy Mays here for the Union Pacific Patch Kit.
Billy Mays here with the Union Pacific Patch Kit. F*** your patch!